Stop talking. In the last session, we discussed about what? Huh? IOC container or calculator? Can you explain base package briefly? Already explained briefly only. Anyways, let's start now. Today we are going to discuss about bean scope and dependency injection. So we'll start our discussion with bean scope. What is meant by scope in general terms? Visibility of object. You know these three words, huh? Every time same definition. Except these three words, what is a scope? Bean scope means the visibility or availability or life cycle of a bean object managed by the IOS or Spring container. Bean object means, like, let's understand what is a scope and why we are studying it. Let's say this is your IOC container. IOC container is not a physical device or not a physical thing. It's just a programmatically created a container, and container is not a box kind of thing. It's just an imaginary thing. It does not exist in physical world. If you are as opening a Spring Boot project and asking where is the container file show, there is no container file. It is just implemented automatically. So let's say this is a IOC container. Now this container is having object of two classes. Let's say trainer class, trainer T, and student S. How many of you are done with the calculator project? No one. Very good. Now let's say this is a IOC container which is managing the object of these two classes. And here is your Java application or simply a Spring application is running. Now what scope means, there will be a continuous communication between the Spring application and the IOC container. Spring application will say, give me the object of trainer, that will give. Then it will say, give me the object of a student, it will give. Then again it will say, give me the object of trainer, again it will give. Now what scope means here, that how many times we can fetch the object. There will be a restriction. There is no unlimited refilling here. There is an end to everything. So when is that end? Now in general terms, we can say that there is no end, but that's completely wrong. We can close our container. After that, container will stop giving you the object. So scope means those particular things only. That's why we have written three things here: visibility, Availability and life cycle. Visibility means that when this Spring application is asking for the object, is it available within the container or not? Availability means are you able to give it to me or not? And the life cycle means how much phases will be there within this trainer class, right? So let's go back to programming and we will see it there. Till then, let's discuss the type of scope in bean scope in container. Scope of beans can be classified into several types. I think two types already I have said you that day, but no problem. We will discuss that again. First is singleton. Second is prototype. These are the two type of scope that you will use highly. When I am saying highly means these two are the important one in terms of your Spring application. Rest whatever we are having after these two are used within the web layer, not here. When you're talking about core Spring, these two are used, singleton and prototype. When you are dealing with Spring MVC or technically the web part, there we will be having some others, that is request, session, application, and web socket. These four are related to web part where you should have the understanding of HTTP methods and all those things. Right now we are going to discuss about singleton and prototype. These all things we will hold until we are reaching web MVC and where we will understand HTTP methods. Because even if I am teaching these, they are of no use to you. You can't understand anything there. So let's start our discussion by saying this singleton. When we are talking about singleton, you can see the name itself is trying to say something. Single, right? Forget this TON, just single. It means that this is your Spring application and this is the container. Container will create only one object of the trainer class and one object of the student class. Only one, not more than one. So what will be the problem inside this? Let's say this is a class where I am the trainer. So I can say my name, the trainer Shivam. Now here till now it is fine because I am the only trainer here, right? In this room, I am the only trainer. But when we are going towards student, now let's say there is one student Adi. Is there all the students are having the same name? Not at all. There are Dinesh also, right? There are a lot of peoples are there. Then if container is creating only one object, let I will show you these things programmatically also. If container is creating only one object of trainer, it is fine because trainer is one only. But when we are talking about students, there are a total 200 students. And container will say that your name is Adi, your name is Adi. So this is not going to work. Let's see what we are talking about programmatically now. So calculator already we have closed, but we will change something to our calculator project. But when we will change, when we are talking about dependency injection. So I'll create a new project. We'll go with Maven project and just click on next. Catalog, you can select quick start here. Group ID com.scope. Artifact ID is Spring Bean scope. So project is built here, Spring Bean scope. Very basic thing is we will get one normal class where it will print hello world. Just for checking the working of application, try to run it just after creating whether it is printing hello world or not. So of course it is printing hello world. Now we will see bean scope by both the method, Java config method as well as XML based method, so that you can see how to create container by three methods. First is I will right click on src main and Java because this is the class path, and here I will create a new file. File name I will keep as application context.xml. You can keep any name. Application context.xml. I'm trying to create a container using XML based configuration. Now, if you just remember it, we have to add the DTD of it, that is document type definition. For that, you can search DTD for application context Spring. You can go to the website. Already all these steps are mentioned within the documentation. I will simply copy this and paste it here. That's it. Now, whatever error is coming here, you can ignore it. When we are going to web part, I will show you why these errors are coming. Just make sure that your XML file is not having a blank line at the top. This will be a complete error. Your application will not run after that. Now, in app.java, I will try to create a container. There are two type of container, bean factory and application context, but we are working with application context. So we will go with the same way, that is application context container equals to new. Now we are working with XML. So what we have to use? Class path XML application context. This is what we have to do here. You can import them. When we are trying to import, they are not importing the package. And the reason is we haven't added the jar files. Now we are talking on two things. Spring application. So we should add the dependency of Spring core, because you have to tell that this is a Spring application. So we will go to the website MVN repository, searching for dependency of Spring core. 6.2.5 version we will choose. In which file we have to paste? What is the full form of POM? Plain object model. Project object model. Second, we have to add the dependency of Spring context. Why context? Because the same thing container we are creating. 6.2.5. Earlier, we have to add the dependency of Spring Bean as well. But now Spring Bean comes, the jar file of Spring Bean comes with the context only. Now separately we don't have to add it. Save the file. Previously you have added these dependencies. Why again adding? Open your eyes so that you can see that we have created the new project. Now we will try to add the package, and this time they are getting imported. Why they are getting imported? Because now we have the jar files of all. You can see Spring Bean. This is coming because of Spring context. Container is created. Let's try to give a print message here that container is created. By the way, there will be error because we have not given the address of file, that where is your XML file, right? So we have to give the address. Where is your file? File path will be a string path. String path equals to slash application context. What was the file name? Application context.xml. And I will give this path here. Direct path in string you can write here also, and you can declare the path outside and use it here. Hello world container is created. Still printing hello world, so I will remove this. It means that there is no problem with this file. If there was any error here, it would not have printed container is created. Now in the same package, I will create a, let's say, trainer class. So there is a trainer class. Now this trainer class will have two private fields. Int private string name, private int age. So these two fields it is having. Now you can generate getter setter, but again I will suggest you that at least for 10 projects type the getter setter by yourself. Don't generate by going to source, right? Again I will give you a logic for that. There is a trainer class which has two private fields. It means that these fields cannot be accessed outside of class or package, but we want to use them. So what we will do, we will create a setter method, setter for name, which will set the name outside. That is going to be public void because it will not return anything. Set name. Generally set name is not a standard method. You can write as name as well. This is just a variable name. Public void set name. What it will do, it will accept one name outside, and name will be in string format. So it will accept something as string n. What it will take one name and give it to this here. So name equals to, and I'm not writing anything as this that because constructor obviously I'm not using. Okay. In the same way I will create for I age, set age. It will accept one int value from outside and set it inside age. Now setters are done. You can print, you can create get method also, that is public. When you are printing the name will be in string, right? But you can create void also, public void get name. Not even a single issue. You just have to print the value here. So here we'll say public string get name, and what it will do, it will just return name. In the same way public int age. What this method will do, it will return age. It should be a get age actually. Get age. So getter setters we have created. Generally, it is a one line thing. What you will do, you will remove all these. Go to source and go to generate getter setters and you will generate. But I will not suggest you. You should understand the working of this. Now container is created as well. The trainer class is created. Now in the application context, what I will do, I will try to create the object of this trainer class here. And object are created in the form of bean because we are following the XML based configuration here. Bean is there and bean has two things, class as when you are writing class, you have to write the fully qualified class name, means package dot class name dot trainer. So bean is created here, right? Now in app.java, what I will do, I will try to fetch this particular object from the container itself. Trainer t equals to new trainer we will not write because container has the object now. So container dot get bean of what? Trainer dot class. Trainer. Right? Now what we can do here, we can set the name and age to the trainer. So I will say t dot set name. Name will take one string value and we'll set the age as well. Any value you can write here. Okay. And at last we will try to print them. So we'll say t dot get name plus with some space t dot get age. This is what we will write up here. Shivam and 12 we are getting. Till now everything is fine and the reason that there is only one trainer. So here no issue. Now our case is we will create a student class. So let's create. So what we did, we created a student class. In the same way, a student class will have some private fields. Let's say like this, private int id, private string name. Like this we will do. Again, it should have getter setters. We'll write public. Setter will not return anything. So it should be void. Public void set id. Id is int. So it will accept one int value. Int I, id, anything you can write. Then id equals to I. After that, in the same way, public void set name. It will accept one string n value. Name equals to n. Like that. If you are having any problem in this, you can ask. Just don't get some misinformation. Return id and public string get name. It should return name from the file. That's it. Trainer class I will close and all of this code I will comment out. this one, because we will not work with trainer class now. Container is already created. Now this time I will define the object of which class? Student class. So that will be a separate bean. Now this bean will be having some sort of class. So write it, class equals to, again, fully qualified class name. So at first, package dot class name student. I said that with get method we can write the void as well. So what we will do there, we will print the ID. What we will do there, we will print the value of ID. We will not return it. Simple. Okay. Now the object, we have given the object of student class to the container. Let's try to fetch it. For that, creating the object of student 1, because we will have multiple student. So student s1 equals to, we will ask container dot get bean, that give me the bean of student dot class. Fine, right? Very good. And in the same way, we will create second object of student, creating the object of student, or you can write creating the object for student 1 or student 2, like this. So we'll follow the same thing. Student s2 equals to container dot get bean student dot class. Now what I will do to the first student, giving values to first student. For that, the object is written with s1. So s1 dot set id. id I will set as 11. Then s1 dot set name. Name, let's say I will set to Adi. We have given IDs and name to the first student. Same we will return to the user now, means we will print them. Something like this, that details of first student. Details of first student. So s1 dot get id plus with some space s1 dot get name. So when we are plus, when we are running the code, what is the output that we are expecting? 11 Adi. Let's run it. And we got 11 Adi, right? Till now, everything is fine. Have you given values to second student? No. But let's see the magic. System dot out dot println s2 dot get id plus with some space s2 dot get name. And here I will give a print message, that details of second student. Details of first student 11 Adi. Details of second student 11 Adi. But we didn't even give the value to second student. Now you might be thinking that it will take by default previous values. So here, let's try to give values to second student. S2 dot set ID 12. S2 dot set name. Let's say Dinesh. Now we will try to run the code. The output is 11 Adi and 12 Dinesh. Fine, right? Now it is taking two different values for two students. Rana, where is the scope went? Not understand. What you didn't understand, Lucky? For the first student, we are setting the ID as 11 and name as Adi. For S2, we are setting the ID as 12, name as Dinesh. And they are coming perfectly fine. What you didn't details of first students 11 Adi, details of second student 12 and Dinesh. What you didn't understood in this? But this is not the case, you know. This is not the case. Let's say we are creating the third student. So for that student S3 equals to container dot get bean student dot class. Same way I will print the details of third student. So S3 dot get ID, S3 dot get name. The first student's IDs are being 11 and Adi, second 12 and Dinesh, third we haven't given any value. We are just trying to access it. 11 Adi, 12 Dinesh, and third is getting 12 Dinesh. It means that the container is recording the previous values and giving it to a student which does not have any name. Sometimes it is good also, and most of the time it is bad. That every time you will have to deal with some bogus values or some obsolete values which are not in use even. So that is called singleton scope. That is called singleton scope, where object is created only on one time. Now what will be the use case or what is happening in this case? Let me tell you, and how we will prevent this particular part. Let's say this is your Spring container that you can call IOC container, right? IOC container. What happened here is we are creating the object. I'm talking about student class only. So at first we created for student S1. Student S1. Second time we created for S2. Now what scope means, you requested to create a container and within the application, here your application is running. Within the application, you have given some values to S1. What values you have given to S1? So this is your S1 and here values you have given something like this, that ID is equals to 11 and name is equals to ABC. Like just suppose it that we have given ABC as the name. So now Spring application will transport these two values to the container because container is managing everything. So container will get these values as well. And container will say, okay, students are having ID as 11. Students are having name equals to ABC. And this is the universal truth for the container now. Doesn't matter what is the student. Now, whenever you are running a command s1, s2, doesn't matter. When you are saying s1 dot get id, it will container knows which value for id 11. Container will export this value. But in that case, you are setting the values to s1 only, right? In that case, we are setting values only for s1. Why it is giving the same values to s2? It should not give, because all the students will have their different value. So the by default scope of any container is singleton, or the scope of bean is singleton. Singleton means container will create only one instance for one class, or you can say it will create only one object where values will be shared globally to all, right? So let's see what the singleton means. Singleton scope of beans. The singleton scope of beans is the default scope in Spring, where the container will create only one object. By object, what does it mean here? One Java bean, right? That is object. So the container will create only one object, and the previously taken value will be shared globally. It means whatever value you have accepted last time will be given to all, unless and until you are specifying the values for S2. You can specify it will take other values, but unnecessarily, why it is giving the value to all? I don't want to give values to all. Why it is giving to S2, right? So we have to change the scope of beans. By default, it will create singleton only. We have to change it. Where we can change. So now as we are following the XML based configuration. So this is singleton first. Now we will see what is prototype scope of bean. Prototype scope of beans. Did you understood this problem, that why we are not going with the default scope? Because one student got ID as 11 and name as ABC. Is it necessary that second student will have same thing? No, not at all. Name can be same, just for a coincidence. ID can't be same. ID will be different at all. That's why we have to change. But sometime in case of this trainer, do you want to change it? No. Why? A single trainer it is. But if there is required, you can change. It is the default scope. This is asked sometime that what is the default scope of beans within the Spring. So it is singleton. Singleton means only one object is created. In prototype, in prototype scope of the beans, all the objects are managed independently. Independently, and the values are not shared with each other. It means that if we are initializing the object 10 times, Spring will create 10 different objects or instance, like that you can say. But how we will do it? How to achieve prototype scope? Why we are not trying to achieve singleton? Or it is by default coming? Why to achieve this prototype scope? In XML based configuration, if you are have configured using XML, so this is the thing. At first we have to write a bean tag. Now within this bean tag we have to write the class, whatever your class, let's say com dot scope dot student, like this. You have to give a attribute scope, that's it. As a attribute, scope equals to prototype, that's it. Like this we have to do it in XML based configuration. Remember, this is an XML based configuration where we will write scope as prototype. Let's try it within our student class. This is our student class where I will say that the scope of this bean is going to be prototype. Prototype. Check the spelling as well. It should not be a spelling mistake. Now we have changed the scope of this bean to be prototype. Okay. Now let's try to check what we have done in the main app. In the main app, created the object of student S1, given the value to first student as Adi and 11. To second student, we have given values as 12 and Dinesh. But to the third student, we haven't given any value, and we are trying to print the values of third student as well. Let's try to run the code now. So what we are getting, container is created. Details of first student 11 and Adi given by us. The details of second student 12 and Dinesh. Details of third student 0 and null. Now it is not taking 12 and Dinesh or 11 or Adi. Why? Because we are not on the singleton scope now. All the objects are treated different. How they are treated now? So they are treated like this now. Student S1 is there. It is a different object which will have its own value. Now let's say you have given ID as 11, name as ABC. It will take here itself that ID as 11 and name as ABC. It doesn't matter how many students are there. They will have their own value. If we are not writing any value, so whatever the default value is, they will take that value. And in case of student class, there is no default value for ID and it's a int. The default value will be 0, name will be null. So that is what we are getting here. Understood prototype and singleton? Understood clearly? But it take the more memory space. Who will take more memory space? So here let me mention how to achieve singleton scope. By the way, it is default. You don't need to achieve it. So here scope will be singleton. Scope will be singleton. However, it is default. No need to do this thing because you are writing extra code. So I will mention the note as singleton is the default scope of the beans. So we do not have to rewrite it. Okay. This was when you are working with XML based configuration, right? This is what we are doing on XML based configuration. What if we are on Java based or technically annotation based? So what will happen when we are on annotation based configuration? In definition of product, there should be not. Mm-mm-mm. All the and the values are not shared, yes, with each other. Annotation based configuration. While we are doing annotation based configuration, so at first we should have a annotation config class. Now what I will do, somebody asked about base package. So let me explain it. Base package is your main package. Now in a let's talk about calculator project. So I will open the calculator project for a minute. These were the packages: com.calculator, com.config, com.controller, com.services. We were having four packages. So I will say com.calculator. Then for the services, addition service, subtraction service, we were writing com.calculator dot service dot services. For the configuration of container, we were having com.calculator.config, and we were having a controller as well for controlling everything. com.calculator.controller. Now, if you are writing a class for controller, it will be written within this package. If you are writing a class for configuration, it will be written here. If you are writing a class for service, it will be written here. If you are writing a main class, it will be written here. Now all the things are written outside. Then how you will give one package name which will contain everything? Let's say you will say at the rate of component scan, that scan the component, but where? Let's say you came to me and ask where is my laptop, and I am saying that go to room and find, but which room? There are 100 room in that building. You should specify something like this, that first floor, like that. Now you will have 10-20 rooms to search. Then is more you can the more you can specify that first floor left part, half will be left. So base package is the main package which is having their configuration in all other packages. Now if I ask you what is the one or two word which are available in all the packages, you will find this com.calculator, 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 com.calculator. Now you can say that find your file in com.calculator. Now when you said this thing that find the file within com.calculator, the container will scan all these four, because base package you have mentioned there. So this is base package convention. So here only I will come to Spring Bean scope. Now within the main package only I will create a class. I'm not going with, or let's say you can go. So what I will do, I will say class. Class I will create annotation config, and I will create this class in com.scope.config package. So you can see now we have two packages, com.scope.config, com.scope.springbeanscope. Now inside the configuration we have created a class. Now we will say one thing, that DTD means configuration annotation we have to keep here. This annotation config class will say that I don't have bean of any class, but you can scan for those. Component scan, component C capital, scan S capital. Here you have to write base packages, base packages equals to, now you have to write the base package here. What base package you have to write? com.scope.config, com.scope.springbeanscope. What is the base package? Com.scope. So we can mention the same thing here, that find your class within this package. Com dot scope. Now what I will do is class, student class is here. I will say that this class is a component. This class is a component. I will comment out all the previous code, container and everything, because this time we are going with annotation config. So the entire code I will comment out. Now, creating the annotation based container. One Spring application should have only one container. Either it is XML based, it is annotation based, but it should have only one container. That's it. Don't create 2, 3, 4 container, right? One container can manage everything. So here for creating container, application context, container equals to new. This time, last time we were doing class path XML application context because we were having XML file, but this time it is going to be annotation config application context. And here we have to write the class name. What class name? Annotation config dot java, where you have written the things. So annotation config dot java. Like this we will do, and you can import the annotation config. Is it in different package? Class, my bad. Okay. After this, we can attach a simple print message to it. That container is created. Okay. So that we can check whether if we are getting some error or not. Container is created. We are not getting any error. Now we will move forward for creating the first student. Creating the object for first student, or you can say student 1. So I will say student S1 equals to container dot get bean student dot class, right? To this first student, I will give the values, giving values to first student. That is S1 dot set ID. ID I will set as 99. S1 dot set name. Name I will set to anything. Let's say ABC. And given the values, now we will access the values. Accessing the first student. S1 dot get ID with some space. S1 dot get name. We are printing this. What output we are expecting? 99 and ABC. We got the output. Now, same way, whatever we are doing, we will do for second student. Creating the object for student 2. That is student S2. We will not set any value to student 2. We will not set any value to student 2, but we are trying to print the value, that is s2 dot get ID and s2 dot get name. Okay. 99 ABC, 99 ABC. We get the values. The reason being default scope is singleton. Now, if we have to change it, this time annotation config is working, right? The previous entire code is commented out, so it will not work. So scope attribute will not work. But this time the student class is declared as a component. Component means self-contained Java bean. But here only the bean is getting created. Now you can write the scope annotation. What you can do? You can write the scope annotation over the class and you can write the value to prototype. You can write the value to prototype here itself. Let's try to run the code now. What we are getting? 99 ABC, 0 and null. Same logic. This time all the students are managed independently. The values are not shared as prototype we have done here. Same as XML, because this is just a different way of creating container. Working is same. Working is same. What if I am converting this prototype to singleton? Again, we are expecting the same output for both the student. But no need to write singleton as this is the by default scope of the bean, right? It is the by default scope of the bean. So we'll mention in the same way that in annotation based configuration, if we want to change the bean scope, then we have to give we have to annotate the bean class with an annotation and that annotation is at the rate of scope. Example, let's say there is a public class student. At first it will be annotated with at the rate of component. Second, you can annotate it with at the rate of scope, and within the scope you can define it to either prototype or to singleton. But singleton is by default, so no need to do that. Understood? Then what about all these four? Request, session, application, WebSocket, all these are related to web MVC part. And web MVC means when you are working with HTTP methods. So when we are discussing all those, these all I will explain at that time, because as of now you understand this getter setter, you understand values, so you easily understood singleton and prototype, but you can't understand that. So I think we should not waste the time there. When we are starting web MVC, you don't remember it, I will remember, right? You don't have to remember it, that something is left within the scope. This was the bean scope. Understood singleton and prototype? If you got any question, please go ahead and ask. Clear? Singleton and prototype? All clear? All clear? Yeah, all clear. What is the use case of singleton and prototype? What is the main differences singleton and prototype? I hope you didn't listen perfectly here. The main difference is within the singleton, object will be created only one time and the values will be shared. And in prototype, there will be different object. The use case I have given within the example. Let's say for this Spring Boot class, I am the only trainer. So trainer can have any scope, doesn't matter, because class will create the trainer object only one time. There is not even a second trainer. But in case of student, we will have 100 student. In case of 100 student, if you are not giving the values, all of them will take the same value. If the scope is defined as singleton, that's why we have to make them prototype. Clear? Okay, cool. I'll give you the zip file as well as this notes. Now we are going to discuss about one important topic. Remember when I started Spring, I gave you two important feature of Spring. One was IOC, inversion of control. Second one was dependency injection. So we are going to discuss about dependency injection now, right? The next thing that we are going to discuss here is dependency injection. Let me first write a single line definition for it. After that, I'll give you an example. Dependency injection in programming, because this is a normal terms also which can be used outside of programming world. So dependency injection in programming can be defined as the design approach. Design approach. There are multiple type of design approach. You might have studied MVC architecture or MVC approach in advanced Java, right? Model view controller. It's just same way you have singleton factory approach. They all are approach of developing something. So like that only dependency injection is a design approach in which the one object, one object means Java bean is directly injected into the another object. Now why we are doing this thing? So dependency injection is used to make the application loosely coupled. For what? Loosely coupled. Now what is this loosely coupled and tightly coupled? I think I have given you a cab example that if you are coming Hyderabad for first time, you want to visit something. If you remember that example, who took the control of you? Cab driver. So technically you have given your full control to the driver. Let's say you are going by cab somewhere and you have a fear of getting into an accident or something like that. But you can have a fear only. The entire control is in the hand of driver, right? He is responsible for whatever you are doing, right? So you cannot even control it. So at that time you are tightly bounded to the driver. Whatever he is doing, if he is giving you a severe accident, you will take it. You have to take it. So all those things we will cut from the Spring application. For that, let's try to understand a very simple example. There is a student class. There is a student class. Now, if I'm talking about student, let's say there is a new student which is getting enrolled into Naresh IT. Now, Naresh IT will take some basic details of the student. Private string name, they will take your name. Private string email, they will take your email. Private long mobile number, your mobile number. private string address. They will take your address. Just I'm taking these four things. Now, in that case, what I will do, I will write some example value. Let's say the student name is ABC. Student name is ABC. Now, is it clear? So let's say the student's name is ABC. Email is abc@gmail.com. Just some example values I am writing. And mobile number is something like 909090 like that. This is the mobile number. Till now what we have got single values, but when the address is coming, if I am writing 314, is it an address? No. Address will contain other things. 314 road number 3 like this. 324 doesn't matter. Is it a complete address now? No. 314 road number 3 KPHB. Now is it a complete address? Somehow we can say that now this is complete, but the full complete address will be Hyderabad along with the pin code, whatever the pin code is, right? Now this is complete address. So what we saw here, name is single value, email is single value, mobile number is single value. But in case of address, we got lot of things. So now what we will do is, we will not create the things in this way. So this is a student class. So what we will do, that we will not make this address as a string. This address will not be a string like this. Address will be a separate class. What will be there? Address will be a separate class. Now it will have some fields, fields like this: private string house number, or it can be int also, right? Private int house number, private int house number. It will have private string street, right? It will have private string town or city name, and at last it will have private int pin code. Now this is a complete address. So what we will do, when we are creating the student class, when we are creating the student class, we will say that the address of student is not of string type, it is of address type. Now what does it mean that the address of student is of address type? So here we will write private, the type is address, ADR. It means that we are giving the reference of this class, that the address of a student is referring to this class. Whatever values this class is having, that is our address now. Now what you did, you injected one class into another class. Here we will do the things. This is dependency injections overview like this. This is the main part. Now let's try to do these things. But before that, types of dependency injection. In how many ways we can inject the, why we are saying this as injection? Yesterday I told it, right? What is the work of injection? That quickly you can have access or quickly you can get cure. Here, when we are writing private string address, everything will go one by one, right? But when we have injected the address class itself, it will come with these four values, right? Automatically, it will come with default values. You don't have to give any values to this. So this is the use case here, right? So there are two types of dependency injection. There are two type of dependency injection. The first one is setter injection. The same setter getter method. Setter injection. Second one is constructor injection. No need to worry. We will see them clearly. Constructor injection. So we can inject the dependency by using these two things. Setter injection and, but if you see it somewhere, there will be one more automatic injection. But I will discuss automatic as a separate topic, not with these two. Let's see what we are going to do. So at first we will create a new project for it. We will go with Maven project. Wanna do it today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Why? Is it getting overflow? Hey, we discussed about two simple terms, singleton and prototype. How it can be overflow. Okay, let's create the project. I will not do anything new. I will do all the previous things. Okay. So we will create a new Maven project. I will get a quick start archetype. Group ID I will write com.di dependency injection. App name I will write spring di, and package name I will keep as same with my group ID, that is com.di. This is my project configuration. We'll click on finish. At last you can, now audible. So at first we will run this basic code and it should print hello world. Save the file before running and we are getting hello world. So we can remove this part. As we are working with the Spring application, what is the first requirement? Spring core. So you have to add the dependency of Spring core. So 6.2.5, you can go with this version. After the dependencies tag, we'll keep that. We are working with container as well. That is going to be Spring context. See, all these things you will not do in Spring Boot. Everything is automatic there. No depend, like we will add dependency, but not for these things. Mm, Added the dependency for both of them. After that, you have to save the file. Just press Ctrl S and you will get the jar files. Cross check whether you are getting the jar files or not. Okay, we are getting in the src main Java. I will create the XML file. I'll leave it. At first, I will create a student class. A student class is created. Now, what I will say that a student is having ID. It is having name. It is having email. It is having private long mobile number, and it is having address, private address ADR. Now this address is not a string type. We are saying that it will be a class itself. So what we can do is we can create a class for it. So within the same package, I will create a class that is address class, right? Now, what are the things that are available in string class? Private int h number or house number, right? Private string street. Private string city name or city. Private int pin code. I am keeping is int because the pin code in India is of 6 digit, right? Why 6 digit only? Huh? Unique, like your answers. Search it. Why pin code in India is of 6 digit? Actually, there is a meaning of each and every digit. It's not randomly given. Let's say if we talk about the pin code of KPHB, it is 500072. This is the pin code of KPHB. Why? What is the meaning of 5000 and 72? Search it. There is a meaning of two digits. 50 will be having some meaning, 20 will have some meaning, and 72 will have some meaning. Search it. Have some general knowledge as well. Got it? Today I will search. Why not now? Search it now only. So we have created a student class and address class. Simple thing. Haven't did anything. For this student class, you can generate getter setters. Means create them. So generate getter setters. And for address class also, we will generate them. Try to write them so that you can understand. Now, what we will do is we will create the Google and copy pasted. First zone, India is divided into 9 zone, 1 to 9, then sub zone, then sorting district, post office code within that district. Exactly. Because you guys haven't written letters, right? Because you guys are the kid of Snapchat and WhatsApp. What is the NSH of Hyderabad? National Sorting Hub. Where is the National Sorting Hub of Hyderabad? It's in Begumpet. Means all the letters coming to Hyderabad will first reach Begumpet. All the letters and parcel at first they will go to Begumpet. After that they will distribute. Anyways, that is not our Java code. So let's come here. Now what I will do inside src main Java, we will create our containers configuration. So we'll go with the file and here we will say application context dot xml. Same thing we will do here, copying the DTD. Right here I have given the DTD, and I will define one bean and one bean of type, like means class. So class name is com dot di dot student. This is my bean. In app.java, I will create the container, creating the container that is going to be application context container equals to new class path XML application context, and here you can provide the path of your file. So the path in my case it's in direct src folder, that is application context.xml. Directly path I have written, or you can do string path equals to, you can write this, or here directly you can write it. After this I will give a print message to the user, that is container is created. Container is created. Let's check whether if we are running into any error. No error, our container is created. Now what we will do, creating the object of student class. Creating the object of student class. For creating the object of student class, we will ask it to container that student s equals to container dot get bean of student dot class. Okay, created. Any doubt? Did you remember that when we are creating the object, we can give the values as well here by writing property tag. So within this student, I will say like this, property. Property name stands for the field that you have declared, like ID, name, email, MOB, and ADR. So here we will say that student property name equals to ID, and the value of ID is going to be 11. Write it in double quotes, doesn't matter whether it's an integer value or string value. By default, it will detect. After that, same we are going to have a property tag. Name is name and value is, let's say, Shankar. We are having some more properties as well, and they are email and mobile number. Property name equals to email. Value is Shankar at the rate of gmail.com. And then mobile number. Mobile number, some random value we can write. Now this bean is having default values for student class. Now we are creating the object, right? We can print the values. You know about toString method? ToString method. What is toString method? What are the use of toString method? What is the use of convert object into string exactly?
This
it will
meeting is
only
being
accept
recorded.
int kind of value. If name is string, it will accept string kind of value. If name is email, it will accept email kind of value. Then what will be accepted by address object? But here what object we can give? Let's try to give a random value. So we will say 210 RD3 KPHB Hyderabad. Something like this we are saying. We don't know what is the output. Let's try to give that 210 road number 3 KPHB Hyderabad like this. You can attach pin code as well. We'll run the code now. And this is the output that we are getting. That cannot convert value of type. That whatever value you are giving for ADR is not acceptable. What it will accept, ADR field will accept address class kind of value. That is called dependency injection. And that we will do tomorrow now. Right? So this Spring DI we will do tomorrow now. I will give you this Spring Bean Scope code as well as the notes. So practice these things. What is setter injection, how to achieve it, what is constructor injection, how to achieve is, what is the bean wiring, how to achieve it. So this is will be the class flow for tomorrow. At first we will discuss about dependency injection in which we'll discuss about setter injection as first, then constructor injection, then we will discuss about bean wiring, then we will discuss about auto wired, then we will discuss about qualifier and primary. A lot of things are there. Generally till tomorrow this will be completed. So this will be the class flow for tomorrow. Okay, got it? Any doubt in particular things that we discussed today? We should practice on XML or any other. You should practice on both, because there are some companies who are still using XML and some are already shifted to annotation. So you should have knowledge of both. While learning, don't try to use option. This is my thing, that when you are learning something, don't go with the option that you have option 1, option 2. Okay, I am going with option 2, it's very easy. Please don't do that. Have knowledge of option 1, option 2 as well. Don't try to skip anything. This is a learning curve, you should follow it. Okay. See, after dependency injection, your Spring Boot will start. So you can say after 2 days. And in that, JDBC will start. JDBC template and other things. So make sure that you have practiced all the previous things. Otherwise, once that is started, Spring Core is not about to finish. Now we whatever we are writing in Spring Core, we will convert that code to Spring Boot. So if you remember that Spring Boot is the implementation of Spring Core only. Till the last day of this class, you will be studying Spring Core only. Just the implementation will be done by using Spring Boot. Fine guys, let's connect again tomorrow. Have a nice time everyone. Bye bye. Take care. You can leave now.